over and over again. And maybe the answer is to bulldoze through it. Maybe it's to climb over it. You gotta go through it. Either way. Um, and so all of that is to kind of loop into that reflection. I really had to sit with, why am I doing it the way that I'm doing it? Can I do it? It's a huge fear, not just of being perceived, but losing control and not being able to control the narrative of how people perceive you. That's something I've really struggled with, especially over the years of putting myself online, which is kind of, I think, the big conclusion of what I've been trying to get at in 4 fucking episodes, 5 something hours of yapping later. I've just been trying to figure out, and then my mind goes blank because I get nervous. I guess that's it. How to overcome that fear. How do I overcome this, and how do I keep doing everything that I'm doing? And what is the disconnect? Because, like, I'm alone in my apartment. Well, I'm with my dogs, but I'm in my apartment. I'm talking to a camera. I do this, like, fluently by myself. I do this fluently with friends, but what is this disconnection? It's like, well, I can't control the narrative of how I'm being perceived. There's a huge fear around that. Because as I put myself online, you get that misunderstood, and then it just re-triggers a wound of, like, well, no one's ever going to understand me. And so why make them understand me? And then you get lost in communication through that route, through all of these different, it's a pendulum swing, it's a seesaw, it's tit for tat. It's just a game of tennis. And okay, so slow down. I'm trying to learn to slow down. My brain goes 50 fucking million miles an hour, and so I'm jumping to all of these conclusions, and I'm trying to get my mouth to catch up. I'm already feel like I'm talking really fast. So I couldn't control the narrative of how people perceived me. And I was learning this and really kind of trying to figure out that through my whole Pisces return. But this last weekend at the flea market, I realized where I was seeing that tennis ball game. So something that is happening at the flea market is there isn't a lot of foot traffic. So a lot of vendors will leave. Well, then when people do show up, there's not vendors, so then they're mad. So it's going back and forth, and the vendors are blaming this, and everyone's blaming someone, and then it keeps going back and forth. So for me, being on the internet, I would put myself out there and, like, explain myself in my kind of eccentric, quirky way of doing things with all my billions of references that I know people don't understand, but I'm hoping they'll pick up on, or will be on the same wavelength or whatever. And then maybe they misunderstand me. So then I over explain, and then it just keeps festering that, like, love being misunderstood, which is what Rosemary had talked about, and not over explaining. And I was really trying to figure that out. And I've been sitting in this space of insecurity, the space of chaos. And where did even more of this self-loathing, which I talked about in my other reflection, where did this self-loathing come from? And how do I face it? Like, you just got to do it. You got to do it imperfectly, and you have to be aware of where it's your fault. So back to, like, the flea market example, if I am a vendor, which I am, and if I leave early, I can't be upset when people complain and then no one shows up because of word of mouth. Is like, oh, there's not that many vendors, most of it's closed down, and I paid $10 for parking just for nobody to be there. So what can I control? Well, I can stay and hope for the best. Essentially. So I start focusing on what I could control and releasing what I can't control. I can't control people showing up to the flea market. I can't control people being open-minded or open-hearted enough to understand me. And that's hard to be online. And that's kind of like that is the biggest fear. That is the biggest thing. And I keep perseverating on it because I think it's become a really big deal. The more the internet grows, the more that people are putting themselves out there. It's a shift in human evolution, us tolerating this. And we're seeing and we're showing how maybe we're not quite built for it. And we do need boundaries around it. And how do we because I feel like it's easy to disconnect to humanity online. And so how do we have humanity in these spaces for flawed human beings who are going to stumble over their words, who are going to put their foot in their mouth, who aren't going to be perfect in their communication.